Soosie, the horse that saved Shabbat. Long ago, Jerusalem was a tiny town of narrow cobblestone streets and low stone houses. A bakery stood in the middle of the town. It had 2 large open windows, letting the aroma of freshly baked goods waft in and out of the surrounding homes. There's nothing like the smell of fresh bread, is there? Every Friday morning when the sky was still dark and the stars still bright, the bakery's elderly owners, Esther and Ezra, got out of bed and slowly walked to the bakery. Ezra lit the large oven. Then they mixed and kneaded the dough. When the dough was ready, they braided one challah after another. After lining up the loaves on a large baking pan, Ezra slid them into the oven. By the time the sun came up, the couple had baked enough challah for all the families in Jerusalem to bless and eat at their Shabbat dinners. That's a big bowl of challah. Jacob, their delivery boy, always arrived soon after. He filled the wagon with challah. Next, he led Esther and Ezra's beloved horse Soosie out of her stall. He gave her a big hug, whispered in her ear, and hitched her to the wagon. Climbing into the driver's seat, Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie nodded her head, up and down, neighing back 3 times. Then she swished her tail, and the 2 were on their way. Clip clop, clip clop, Soosie's hooves echoed on the cobblestones of Jerusalem Road. With another click of his tongue, Jacob signaled Soosie to stop so the families could buy their loaves of bread. Yum, the people murmured, holding the loaves close to their hearts. Our day of rest would not be complete without Esther and Ezra's challah. Click, clang, coins dropped into a tin bank as each family paid. Shabbat shalom, everyone called out as they went back to their houses. Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie nodded her head up and down, neighing back 3 times. She swished her tail and headed for the next stop. Clip, clop, Jacob guided Soosie onto Zion Street. The wagon came to a stop. Clink, clang, went the coins as they were dropped into the tin bank. Shabbat shalom, the people called out as Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie neighed back 3 times, swished her tail, and headed for the next stop. One Friday morning, Jacob came to the bakery looking sick. "You should be in bed," exclaimed Esther. "After the deliveries," answered Jacob, sitting down, holding his head. "Esther is right. You aren't well," said Ezra, bringing Jacob a glass of water. Slowly sipping, Jacob replied, "I'll do the deliveries. I know you can't. I know you are tired and achy." "You can barely talk," replied Ezra, swaying and praying for a solution as their large clock tick-tocked the time away. Meanwhile, the scent of Shabbat challah filled the bakery. It floated out the windows to Soosie's stall. Soosie's nostrils fluttered. The smell grew stronger, so she snorted. Finally, she neighed and stomped her hooves. After all, it was Friday morning. When Jacob heard Soosie, his pale face suddenly lit up. "Soosie knows the way," he announced. "Soosie can deliver the challah by herself." "Soosie?" asked the bewildered Esther and Ezra. "Yes, she can do it," insisted Ezra. With great hesitation, they loaded the wagon. Esther sighed and Ezra shrugged as he put the tin bank on the driver's seat and placed a large note underneath it. The note read, "Jacob is sick today. Please take your challah loaves and drop your money into the bank. Shabbat shalom." Ezra hitched Soosie to the wagon. Jacob whispered into Soosie's ear. She nodded her head. Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie answered with 3 neighs. Then she swished her tail and went on her way. Clip, clop, clip, clop, went Soosie's hooves. The people at the first stop fidgeted. "You're late," they started to say, but stopped when they realized Soosie was on her own. They read the note and passed it round. Clink, clang went the coins as they dropped into the tin bank. Once the people called out, "Shabbat shalom," Soosie neighed, swished her tail, and headed for the next stop. Back at the bakery, Esther and Ezra anxiously waited for Soosie to return, while Jacob slept near her stall. When 2 hours passed, they cupped their ears, hoping to hear the sound of Soosie's hooves. "Maybe Soosie forgot the route," said Esther. "Maybe she hurt a leg. Maybe the wagon broke down." 3 hours passed. Esther and Ezra strained their necks, looking up and down the street, but no Soosie. Oh no. Finally, they heard clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. A tired Soosie entered the bakery's backyard, swished her tail, yawned, bowed her head. The wagon was empty. The tin bank was full. Esther stroked Soosie's mane. Ezra released Soosie from the harness, brought her a bowl of water and a scoop of grain. Soosie whinnied, then clip-clopped to her stall, softly licking Jacob's ear on her way. He opened his eyes, and smiled. "You've earned your day of rest," Ezra whispered. With a snoozy snort, Soosie closed her eyes. "Shabbat shalom," said Esther softly, as she tiptoed